like the idea that a voice can just go somewhere uninvited, like a dirty thought in a nice, clean mind.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Jay back at you. Let's talk about Elon's crash out at his first press conference. And Trump looks weak during and after this press conference. But let's watch what Elon had to say, and then we'll break down all the bullshit.
The White House says that you will identify and excuse yourself from any conflicts of interest that you may have. Does that mean that you are, in effect, policing yourself? What are the checks and balances that are in place to ensure that there is accountability and transparency?
Well, we actually are trying to be as transparent as possible. In fact, we post our actions to the Doge handle on X and to the Doge website. So all of our actions are maximally transparent. In fact, I don't think there's been, I don't know of a case where an organization has been more transparent than the Doge organization.
But if there is a conflict of interest when it comes to you yourself, for instance, you've received billions of dollars in federal contracts. When it comes to the Pentagon, for instance, which the president I know has directed you to look into.
Yeah.
Are you policing yourself in that? Is there any sort of accountability check and balance in place that would provide any transparency for the American people?
Well, all of our actions are fully public. So if you see anything, you say like, wait a second, hey, Elon, that seems like maybe that's, there's a conflict there. It's not like people are going to be shy about saying that. They'll say it immediately,
Including you yourself.
Yes. But transparency is what builds trust, not simply somebody asserting trust. So not somebody saying they're trustworthy, but transparency, so you can see everything that's going on. And then you can see, am I doing something that benefits one of my companies or not? It's totally obvious.
And if we thought that, we would not let him do that segment or look in that area if we thought there was a lack of transparency or a conflict of interest. And we watched that also. He's a big businessman. He's a successful guy. That's why we want him doing this. We don't want an unsuccessful guy doing this.
If you have received billions of dollars in contracts from the Pentagon, and the president's directing you to look into the Department of Defense, is that a conflict of interest?
Are going to do at the president's request.
Does that present a conflict of interest for you?
No, because you'd have to look at the individual contract and say, first of all, I'm not the one, filing the contract. It's people at SpaceX or someone who will be putting for the contract. And I'd like to say, if you see any contract where where it was awarded to SpaceX and it wasn't by far the best value for money for the taxpayer, let me know, because every one of them.
Okay, where to even start with this bullshit? Let's start with Elon's $39 billion that he's gotten from the U.S. government, and the transparency he talks about is zero. And he said people will say something if he does something wrong. If anybody says anything negative about Elon or Trump on Twitter, he suspends their account. And then this bullshit that says, I'm not on the filing. You're not flying the rocket either, motherfucker. You still own SpaceX. This is 100% you. This, look at, I'm not on the filing. Motherfucker, like I said, you're not flying the fucking rocket either. And let's be real. The only experience with fraud that Trump has is committing it. Trump committed business fraud that had to do with business records. He's convicted. He's a convicted felon of fraud. And then Elon's like, we are the most transparent. Tweeting out dumb shit does not mean you are transparent. Where's the data? Where's the proof? Just you tweeting it doesn't make it true. There is zero transparency on what's going on. Just because you put out tons of fucking tweets does not mean you're being transparent. And if they actually cared about fraud or corruption, you don't fire the inspector generals. These people have saved the taxpayers about $70 billion a year in waste and fraud and abuse. If you care about fraud, you don't fire the head of the Office of Government Ethics. You don't fire the FBI or cripple the Department of Justice. You also don't close consumer protection boards. These are the people who have saved taxpayers billions and billions of dollars in fraud. The fraud is them lying to you and saying that they're going after corruption when they're really doing is going after your money to help billionaires make billions for billionaires. This idea that Elon is being transparent because he's tweeting on X, So whoever tweets the most is the most transparent. That is the most ass ridiculous thing I've ever fucking heard. And a guy who got $39 billion in government contracts, and then he's like, I'm not on the filing. Motherfucker. And then the people are actually this fucking dumb that they believe this dumb shit. They believe that there's some oversight here or that there's no fraud going on and that they're being transparent, yet they haven't given us any proof. They haven't shown us any data of fraud. They just tweet it, put it on the Doge website, and then they're like, there, we're being transparent, except there's no evidence. There's no evidence. And then Trump and Elon went after USAID after Elon got millions of dollars from them. And then USAID said that he didn't use the money correctly. He has poor business practices and they won't be giving his companies any more money. And then all of a sudden he wants to kill USAID and gut it. But yet this fucker's being transparent. We are listening to two oligarchs, and look at the way Trump just looks up at him, gazing in his loving eyes for a true billionaire, like wishing that he was Elon and not wanting to be president and making sure that he doesn't have to do any of the work except get the headlines. So he is just happy enough to sit there and let an oligarch from South Africa get his hands on our social security numbers and our private information to go trudging through our defense. And Elon has tons of business ties with China and Russia. What makes everybody believe that he is not going to give away our military secrets to China and Russia for better business deals? Everything Elon's ever done is for better business deals. I mean, think about it. He stole every company he owned out from underneath the people who owned it. People think he created Tesla. He didn't. People think he created PayPal. He didn't. And we can keep going on and on down the line. He just used his money that was given to him from his father, who had a fucking jewel mine in fucking South Africa, to buy these companies out from underneath the people whose blood, sweat, and tears created them. But yet this is the guy we're supposed to believe is going to give us 100% transparency. This is the guy who we have not seen any of his defense contracts, but then he's like, if there's anything that looks bad, people will say it, and then you'll silence them and you'll fucking suspend their account on Twitter. It's been happening over and over. The regular American people who speak out against Trump or Elon get their account suspended. News journalists get their accounts suspended for telling the truth. Anything that's negative about Elon or Trump, they just suspend their account. So where is this transparency coming from? Why do we keep listening to these fucking people lie to us without giving us any evidence of what's going on? And you're supposed to believe what they say. Like I said, Trump was literally convicted of fraud. But this is the guy we're supposed to believe is going to be transparent and fight fraud and corruption. Trump only cares about Trump. Elon only cares about Elon. They don't give a fuck about you and me. They don't give a fuck about how bad they're hurting the American people. And we can get into the dumb shit that's going to happen if Trump really puts through these tariffs on steel and lumber coming forward in March. It's just going to cost tons of Americans their jobs and money. But yet they're being transparent. They're being 100% transparent, and we're supposed to believe them when it comes from the man who has 34 felony convictions for fraud. At what point are we going to stand up and say, this is enough? We are not going to put up with these oligarchs just defrauding the government, and everything they've done was to commit more fraud. Look at all the people they've laid off. Look at they gutted the FBI. They're trying to kill the DOJ. Got rid of the inspector generals, and they fired the head of the Office of Government Ethics. What the fuck makes us think that if they're getting rid of these people, that they're being transparent? You don't get rid of all of these civil servants who have dedicated their whole life to serving the American people and fighting against fraud, saving the American people billions of dollars because of fraud and abuse. But yet you're fighting fraud and corruption. Get the fuck out of here. Most of us aren't that stupid. Granted, there is a group of people in this country who are uneducated and will believe whatever the fuck these two say. But that's because, like I said, they refuse to educate themselves. All this information is right out there for everybody. And if you just read between the lines, like they keep talking about fraud without any proof or evidence. At what point do we stand up and go, bullshit, we're not believing your lies anymore? I mean, Elon Musk even walked back the idea that the administration was wasteful about condoms. Yeah, this is Elon fucking talking about fucking condoms, but then comes back and reverses course. I mean, it's right there. And this is from the times of Israel. Even Israel, who they've been backing in this whole thing, trying to do ethnic cleansing of Palestine for Israel, says Elon walks back administration's claim about $50 million worth of condoms allotted for Gaza. Yeah, because they've been lying to you. They've been lying to you using all of this bullshit as an excuse to do what they're doing, to sift through all of our personal information, to go in and just make themselves stronger. And the fact that the American people were more upset about the Super Bowl halftime performance than they were about Elon having your social security information and all of your personal information is fucking wild. We need to wake up and fight back. We need to stop these oligarchs in their track before America doesn't even look like America anymore. We're not perfect, but the way to fix it is not fraud and corruption by billionaires who are cloaking themselves as the defenders of fraud and corruption. It's such bullshit, and people keep buying into it, which is so wild how dumb people can actually be. All right, guys, keep watching. I'll keep bringing you more videos about what's going on. Please check out all the other shows on the network. And like I said before in our last video, go to zuel-world.com to get all your, easy for me to say, all your official merch. But zuel-world.com, Buddy V's out there crushing it. He does a ton in the community. He sponsors fighters. He does good things. So let's help Buddy V. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. One world, one love.
Everything's polluted. The environment, the government, the schools, you name it.
This radio person is the whole problem. Are we going to allow this guy to be heard by anyone who can turn a dial?
You out there? You listening?